Good morning to all of our international customers. A very warm welcome to all of you. Our presentation today will be done by Bea. I think many of you know her. She's traveled quite extensively for us over the Caribbean and Latin America over the last couple years. She's been with Lo Chlor for 10 years now and has 20 years of sales experience. And she's also a CPO instructor. So without further ado, Bea.
Thank you very much, Greg. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to go over effective water solutions. One of the biggest problems we have these days is chlorine is getting very expensive. So we're going to show you some ways to save your chlorine, save your heavy usage of chlorine. Oops. Disinfectant is also called sanitation. Disinfectants is a process of destroying organisms that are harmful to the people. This is what's happening in the pool when you put chlorine in the pool. Oxidation is the process of changing the chemical structures of the contaminants and thereby helping it remove it from the water. We're going to see down the road how oxidation can be a little issue in the pool sometimes. The properties of a disinfectant is to kill the microorganisms, oxidize the contaminants, and leave a residual for safe water to swim in. For those of us that have taken the CPO class, you know that we can have a lot of diseases if we don't have a properly balanced pool and at least 1 part per million of chlorine in the water. Disinfectant inactivates or kills the vast majority or 99% of the microorganisms that are introduced in the water. Chlorine and bromine are the most common. They're also oxidizers. When you put chlorine in the water, it becomes hypochlorous acid. Hypochlorous acid is very pH dependent. It is pH dependent. As we can see here, the ideal levels are 7.2 to 7.8. When the pH is higher, the chlorine is not effective. And when the pH is lower, you think the chlorine is effective, but it is not. So we want to keep it in the 7.2 to 7.8 range, parts per million. High pH has a great impact on water balance and bather comfort. There are many influencing factors that affect the chlorine levels in the water and the pH. Bathers. We introduce a lot of organics in the water when we enter the pool. Disinfectants. For example, chlorine, the byproduct is salt. Cal-hypo, the byproduct is calcium. So those are all introduced in the pool when they're introduced in the pool water. Your water source, is it city water? Is it a well water? That introduces a lot of factors into the pool water and it affects your pH and chlorine. Water source. Airborne waste, water balancing chemicals, aeration, and evaporation. All this affects and it'll get a high pH in the pool water. High pH limits the effectiveness of the chlorine and then we have scale forming in the pool. If you have a pH higher than 7.8, your water is too alkaline and the readiness and effective of chlorine is effective. The pH can lead to other problems such as cloudy water and algae buildup. The lower the pH, the more aggressive the pool is, and you're going to have a corrosive water. And also it'll be affecting your finish. It'll be affecting your equipment. So you don't want your pool water to be effective. That's why the optimal levels are 7.2 to 7.8 for the chlorine to be most effective. The ideal range, which is what we like to call the sweet spot, is 7.4 to 7.6. That's for us, the bather's most effective comfort level. We need to use stabilizer in the pool water. Why do we use stabilizer? I like to call it the sunscreen to the chlorine. Stabilizes, decreases the chlorine breakdown due to UV light. Are you aware that if you put chlorine in a pool, whether it be tabs or liquid, primarily liquid, within 5 to 7 hours, all that chlorine will evaporate out of the pool water. So that's why you need a stabilizer in the pool water. Stabilizer for chlorine is called isocyanuric acid, and the ideal levels are 30 to 50 parts per million. You don't want to keep it any lower than 30 because you're going to have evaporation in the water. And you don't want to keep it any higher than 70 because you're wasting money. These are the elements of balanced pool water. And I forgot to mention, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. And at the end of the webinar, we are going to open it up for questions for anybody who has questions. So elements of balance in the water. If you notice on here, chlorine isn't even mentioned, but these are the effective elements that affect the chlorine: pH, total alkalinity, total dissolved solids, calcium hardness, and temperature. Usually when somebody contacts me, and some of you all have, with a pool water problem, first thing I ask is, what is the water balancing features? Where's the chlorine level? Where's the pH? Where's the alkalinity? 9 times out of 10, we have low alkalinity in the pool water and we get stains. Most of the time we have high pH, also causing some problems in the pool water. So all these balancing factors affect the water and the chemistry. We have the Langolier index. This is what shows us if the water is balanced or not. If you are below -3, you have a corrosive pool. You have an aggressive pool. It's going to be eating up your equipment, the surface, and it's going to be very uncomfortable for the bathers. If you have a pool that's above +5 in the Langolier index, you're going to have scale forming. And another aggressive water, you're going to have cloudiness, all that affects it. If you notice, the saturation index is the pH, temperature factor, calcium hardness, alkalinity factor, and you take away the total dissolved solids. This is what a balanced pool is. So we asked the question, what is parts per million? You keep mentioning this. Well, parts per million is how we measure the pool, chemicals, chlorine, pH. So let's say we have a typical swimming competitive pool. It's 120,000 gallons. Here we call them a YMCA pool. 1 gallon of water weighs 8.33 pounds. Total of the weight of that pool is 120,000 times 8.33. So we can say 1 million. All we need is 1 pound of sugar to raise 1 part per million in that pool water. We don't need 4 jugs. We don't need 10 taps. We just need 1 pound of chlorine to raise, for essence, saying sugar, but just to give you a size estimate. So that's all you need is to raise 1 part per million. That's not a lot. What do we see here, folks? I see a beautiful pool, clear, no swimmers. I can't wait to get in there. I don't think so. Because this is what the reality happens in the pool. In the top left, we have some young kids in a spa. When you see foam like that in a spa, that is not good. It is a very dirty, dirty spa. The woman in the top middle, too much sunscreen. As soon as she gets in that water, all that sunscreen is going to hit the tile. It's going to hit the water. If you read the sunscreen ingredients, it says apply, let it dry, then go swimming. So she just wasted all that sunscreen. On the top right, you see the tile. That is all the dirt that is accumulated in the water, and it goes to the edge, and that's the first place you see it is in the tile. The lady underneath the tile, that is an actual picture of a hotel in Orlando. She was shaving her legs in the pool, things that happen. Underneath her is a young animal that is going a little number 1 in the pool. That happens every day. The middle bottom picture, you see a heavy bather load. And then you have a very, very dirty, dirty cartridge filter. So the chlorine can't keep up with these factors. So here's a good question that I get. I put the same amount of chlorine in the pool water, and I'm now getting low readings or algae in the water. What is wrong with the chlorine that I've been buying from you? Nothing's wrong with it. You have sunshine that affects it, rain, warm weather. But the main culprit of this is organic debris. And we go back to this picture here. All this is adding organic debris to the water. Anything that touches the water leaves something behind. Like I mentioned earlier, chlorine is a byproduct of salt. So it leaves a little bit of salt behind. Calhypo, byproduct is calcium, leaves a little bit of calcium. All these bathers are leaving a ton of organics in the pool. So what is organic? It's all the matter that is introduced in the pool water. It represents nearly all of the water's demand to oxidize. And this is where we go into the situation of we need to shock the pool. Why? Because we need to kill all those organics. We need to shock the pool because we're not getting a chlorine reading. So we can either use chlorine shock or potassium monopersulfate, which is a non-chlorine shock. When the organic debris levels are high in the pool, guess what? The consumption of the chlorine is extremely high in the pool. The chlorine can't keep up. Symptoms of high organic load, we see them every day when we go to pool. Persistent haziness, high chlorine demand. How many times have you gone to a pool and you left it last Thursday and it was at 6 parts per million in chlorine? You come back the next Thursday and it's at 1. You have a high organic load. Oil sheen in the water surface. You have a high TDS value. I have a greenish brownish tint in the water, but it's very clear, but it's a greenish brownish tint. Classic pool problems, the water is balanced, but I get frequent problems of algae growth, low chlorine levels, and short filter cycles. Typically, you don't need to clean a filter, typically, a cartridge filter, but once a month. Sometimes when you do commercial pools or a backpack pool, you backwash it. If you're backwashing that backpack every time you go to the pool, and normally you go 3 to 4 days a week, you have a high organic load. You have a scum line or mineralization on the pool walls and water line. Other common sources are, first thing there, bathers, skin and hair products, skin oil, sheen, sweat, and urine. This includes dog, and I'm going to put a question out there for everybody, and I want someone to answer me today. 1 dog is how many people in a pool water? If you want to put it in the chat, or if you want to wait till the end of the seminar. Decomposed vegetation that falls in the pool, that including any tannins. We have a lot of, Greg, you're not supposed to answer. We have a lot of pools that have trees and beautiful foliage around it. Every time a leaf goes in the pool, it introduces organic load to it. The source water. Chloramines are added to municipalities to help the water flow through. And later on, we're going to talk about phosphates being introduced, phosphoric acid into the city waters too. Some water treatment products. You have the rain runoff, algae corpse, and insect corpse. Here's a fun fact about enzymes. These are gross facts, but they're true. A bather leaves 16 ounces, 1 pound of non-living waste per hour. An average person involuntarily urinates about 5 to 10 milliliters in the pool water. You're all going, that's not right. It is right. As soon as you get in the water, your body relaxes. And it just does a few things. This is one of the few things. The average person involuntarily releases about 1 to 25 milligrams of fecal matter in the pool and spa water. So imagine that heavily bather load pool with 100 extra people in the pool. All this has occurred when they walked in the water. So I don't use enzymes. Do you? Well, here are some of the companies and factors that do use enzymes. Anytime there's an oil change and there's an oil leak in the Gulf or in the water, they put an enzyme in there to eat it up. Septic tank systems. Some of you all have septic tanks. If you use Ridex or any products of that, the main ingredients is an enzyme. Waste managements, kitchen fryers, and even footballs. Yes, folks, believe it. All these use enzymes. So we go back to the properties of a disinfectant. Why is the chlorine there? The chlorine is there to kill the microorganisms, oxidize the contaminants, and leave a residual. In the next couple slides, we're going to go over how we can help you fix all that, or at least help your chlorine work as effective as it was made to be. If you use an enzyme weekly, you will see the following changes in your consumption. You're going to have 30 to 50% less chlorine usage. Yes, that is correct. We had a pool service company, about 400 pools in Jacksonville area. They service the pools, they use Ultrazyme, and these are the results they got. You're going to use 25 to 30% less acid. You're going to reduce the backwash time and frequency. Reduce the time at each location. You're going to brush less. You still need to brush. You still need to brush the walls. You still need to brush the pool, but you're going to brush less and less vigorous. And you're going to have excellent clarity in the pool water. So you asked me, how am I going to accomplish this? Well, I asked you another question. Can you take an apple and swallow it whole? No, you cannot. However, if you chew the apple, you're going to be able to swallow it. That's what an enzyme does. It breaks down the organics to a small, small molecule. And guess what? It gases out of the pool water. So it's going to have less strain on your filtration system. The party happens in the pool, folks, not in your filter. So you're going to be backwashing less. And you're going to see those tile lines are going to be almost as clean as the day you put them in. At this point, we're going to switch over to another product. Does anybody have any questions? You want to put it in the chat? I'll be happy to answer them. If not, you can wait till the end of the webinar. So enzymes are good to use on a weekly dosage. Now you might be asking, B, why do you have 2 of them? Ultrazyme is a strong, broad spectrum enzyme, and it can be used in residential pools and commercial pools. But if you have a heavily used pool, like the one we saw in that picture, then you might want to use Ultrazyme Pro. It's a little heavier on the usage, and it's going to have the same effects as Ultrazyme, but it's a little stronger in its effectiveness of eating all those organics. Can you see any challenges in this picture? I see quite a few. I love our new backgrounds. I love our new decorated pools, the pool behind me here, beautiful foliage, but that causes problems in our pool water. Phosphates can be found anywhere. Municipalities add phosphates to their water also to help it flow. Some pool chemicals contain phosphates. Leaves and grass clippings, beauty and hair products, and animals. We'll go through the pictures here. There's a little raccoon that's making himself a little home there in this pool. He's also using it as a bathroom. You have hair products that have phosphoric acid in it. Like we mentioned, some water sources have phosphoric acid in it. We have fertilizer, and any of you all drinking a soda, primarily a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi, look at the 4th or 5th ingredient is phosphoric acid. We consume it also. And then you have laundry detergent. So just about anything and everything out there has phosphoric acid in it. If you use our Low Phos Max product, we call it Low Phos Max for a reason, because it has the maximum effectiveness to eliminate phosphates from the pool. So let's take an example of a 20,000 gallon pool. I have 1,000 parts per billion of phosphates in that pool. I only need 4 ounces. Now, will it cloud up my pool? If it's certain phosphates will cloud up more than others. And let's say you have 3,000 parts per billion in a pool. You may want to break that up in 3 dosages so you don't blast the pool and make it a one cloudy mess. But it does work effectively. You can check it the next week and you'll see that the phosphates went from 1,000 practically down to 250 typically. So Low Phos Max is great when you have that phosphate issue and you need to get rid of it fast. And you're going to have some algae growing in the pool. Here's another one that eats up the chlorine, phosphates. Remember, the chlorine has one job, but it's going to try and eat the organics. It's going to try and kill the phosphates. It's going to try and eat the scum line. It's not going to win the battle. So let some products that will win the battle for you and help your chlorine be more effective in the pool. So you have a high chlorine demand. Your feeders or salt systems are working overtime. Maintenance will continue to shock the pool. You don't need to shock a pool every week, folks. And continual cloudiness and algae growth. We have 2 products that'll help you with that. Low Phos Max is exactly what it says, max. It's going to do the maximum it can to drop the phosphates into your pool water, depending on the gallonage and the phosphate level. But we also have a nice maintenance dosage, Low Phos E+. Low Phos E+ provides cleaner and healthy water. It has a powerful enzyme that breaks down the organics, and it manages your phosphate levels. We have some service companies that use this on a weekly basis, and they have less algae blooms, less problems, less callbacks. Callbacks cost you money. They cost you time, loss of cleaning another pool or servicing another pool, and it costs you payroll hours. So let us help you. It also will reduce eye irritation and reduces your chlorine demand. That's our main goal with some of these products, all of our products pretty much, is to reduce your chlorine demand. So we're talking about phosphates. What is it? What is algae? Algae is a simple non-flowering plant. It's a large group of seaweed and many other single cell forms. Algae contains chlorophyll, but it lacks that true stem, so you're never going to see a flower, but you're going to see the green and yellow effects of it. There are 30,000 different types of algae out there. So how does algae grow? What does a plant need to grow? A plant needs sun, water, food. There you go. Pool is an excellent spot for algae to grow. So if we don't maintain proper balancing in the pool, we're going to have a lot of algae. Even if most chlorinated pools have algae problems. A lot of algae also grows if you don't have proper circulation in the pool. So if you don't have water moving in a certain area in the pool, you're going to have some algae growth because the water's just sitting there. And the little bit of phosphate you have in there is eating it up. And the algae is eating it up, and it's going to start growing. pH is key element to preventing algae. Again, your pH is too high and your pH too low. That's going to affect your algae growth. Water temperatures, just like bacteria, algae loves and flourishes in warm water. High cyanuric acid levels will prohibit chlorine from sanitizing and oxidizing. If your cyanuric levels are too low, or if they're too high, you're going to have algae growth too. Phosphates, your runtime of your filter pressure, flow, and the age of your filter. And bathers. Again, we introduce a lot of fun stuff for the pool to help fight off. And the list is endless. So this is an actual pool that my colleague took a picture of when she walked into it in Orlando. This is what it looked like, folks. A little bit of an algae problem here. That pool hasn't been run in at least several months, and this is what grew in it. So there's different types of algae. You have green blue, which is typically what we see. Yellow mustard, we see a lot of that. Black algae, common problem we all face. And pink algae is very rare, but it is out there. We have a product here, 90-day algicide. It works for 3 months, 1 dosage. What we recommend is you kill the algae, do a phosphate treatment, depending on where you are in the situation, and then put the algicide in there. 16 ounces for 10,000 gallons or 500 milliliters for 38 square meters. I can never say that. Sorry, folks. I have to learn metric. It is effective against black, green, mustard, and blue-green algae. It's safe for all pool finishes, and you're going to save money because guess what? You're not going to be adding extra chlorine, and you're not going to be shocking the pool to try and kill that algae. So let 90-day algicide do that for you. I'm excited about this next product. We have a salt chlorine generator, which a lot of clients are leaning towards. It's a cost up front, but in the long run, you're saving money. A lot of people think that they have a non-chlorine pool, but they still have a chlorine pool. We'll go on that another day. So you put the salt in the pool water, and it goes through the pool water, goes to the system, and then you have the salt chlorine generator. So you have the controller unit for the salt cell. You have the electricity that flows through the salt platelets, and then when the salt goes through there, it makes chlorine. Chlorine is a natural component of salt, and typically on most salt chlorine generators, you need about 3,000 parts per million to have the salt be produced. I always tell everybody, follow the recommended manufacturer's recommendation on how much salt. Some systems can go as low as 2,500, some need 3,500, so follow your manufacturer's recommendations. We want to test and balance weekly. The system produces only enough maintenance sanitizer, but sometimes it struggles and you have to put it on boost because you're not getting enough oxidation in the pool. So if you use this product, you're going to have a weekly dosage that's going to be oxidizing your pool. So guess what? You don't have to shock the pool anymore. High pH levels create cloudiness in the water. Well, guess what? This product I'm about to introduce will keep your pH down. It'll maintain it low. So this is Salt Master. It's a new product that we've had out in the market for a while now, but we're trying to have all our clients understand it and all the factors. It does 5 features. 5. Powerful shock and stabilize oxidizer. That itself alone saves you money. Spot and scale control. In your salt chlorine generator, you got a lot of scale that builds up. Even though it has reverse polarity, you still have the scale buildup. This will help with that. It's a phosphate remover. Now, if you have 3,000 parts per billion in phosphates, this is not going to help you as much, but it's going to keep it in the lower levels. So if you do have a phosphate problem, this will keep it low. It decreases your pH. You're not going to have that pH drift, because that's the main issue we have with a salt chlorine generator is the pH is going up, up, and up. Well, this is going to help and decrease that, and you're not going to have that drift in the pH that you have with a salt chlorine generator. And you're going to have wonderful clarity in the pool. I'm going to give you an example. I had a client that called me. He told me he had like a slush of Elmer's glue in the pool. When we got there, they ran the pool 12 hours a day, which I love to hear that. The phosphates were at 2,000 parts per billion, and they were running the salt cell at 80%. So I asked him, we adjusted the salt cell to go a little lower. We did a phosphate treatment, and he used Salt Master for 3 weeks, and he saw a drastic change. And that's another thing I want to mention. Some of these products, you need patience. Salt Master is one of those products. It will work. You'll see the change immediately, but sometimes it will take 3 to 5 weeks. But just have patience, and it will work. Does anybody have any questions at this point, or you want to save your questions till the end? I hear till the end. So we're going to talk about metals. Does anybody know why the Statue of Liberty is green? Because when she got to us, she was a beautiful copper color. That's right. She oxidized throughout time. So I like to tell everybody there's 2 types of pools. The pool that's going to get stained or the pool that's already stained. Because some of us don't balance our pool water properly, and that causes stains such as low alkalinity, high pH, organics being introduced in the water, improper circulation, improper runtime. So how do we get stains in the pool? I showed you some of them. I explained some of them already, but we also have construction, fertilizer, toys, gas heaters, money, jewelry, bugs, and plant debris. All this contributes to stains. However, we do need to understand the color of the water, because that'll help us understand what stain. I also have some of you all that do contact me with some stain issues, and that's one of the questions I'll ask is, what does the stain look like, or what does the color of the water look like? So if you have a greenish pool, and I've seen some beautiful green pools, but they were full of copper. Brown pools usually means that you have iron in the pool. For some of us that have well water, and you're using that to fill your pool, and let's say you're putting liquid chlorine in, immediately that pool's going to go poof and turn a nice brown shade. Purple-black usually indicates presence of manganese, and red and brown water is usually iron or manganese. So at least knowing the color of this stain will help us understand what is in that pool water, so we can help you more effectively to apply a product to help you get it out of the water. So there's 2 applications that we have that'll be preventative. You put it in the pool, and then if we already know we have a well water pool, let's not keep fighting it. Let's use this on a weekly basis, because you're going to spend more time and money trying to take care of it when it goes to the top picture. And we want to keep it to the 24-hour later picture. So we have 2 products here. They're fast and easy. They prevent calcium scaling and modeling. They control the dust, the plaster dust that happens when you do a fire up. You're going to have less hot starts on pools. Some people don't like to hot start their pool. That's when they pre-acid wash their pool and then fill it. Advanced scavenger helps to prevent metal stains. It prolongs the life of your salt chlorine generator, and it's ideal for all pool surfaces. So you might be asking me saying, B, why do you have 2 products? Well, this is why. Fast Start Tech is more of our scale remover startup, and it does not yield any phosphates. So I'm going to be very transparent with you. Some of manufacturers are not, but Metalgon does have phosphoric acid. Does it have phosphoric acid? Oh my gosh, I'm going to have so many phosphates in my pool. No, but it does have phosphoric acid in the mixture. Do we have any questions on stains and scale and preventative? You all are waiting till the end, aren't you? Clarifier. We have two products that help clarify, and I know that Worldwide is one of my largest purchasers of clarifiers, so thank you. Clarifiers make your pool sparkle like a diamond, sparkling in the sun. It boosts your filter efficiency. It binds and suspends the particles for improved filtration. Sometimes you have little particles that are floating around the top of the pool. They're not heavy enough to go down to the main drain, and they're not strong enough to to make it to the rear door. So clarifier will bind these together and help them get out of the pool. It's excellent for weekly dosage. You only need 1 ounce for every 6,000 gallons, and it's biodegradable and non-toxic. This particular one is a polymer-based water clarifier. We also have the Mirror Clear Gel tabs, which you guess what? Once a month. You put it in the pump basket, or you can put it in your skimmer basket. I like to recommend the pump basket. That way nobody plays with it. Makes your pool sparkle and shine like a diamond also, but it's only once a month. We have 2 dosages. We have the standard 15,000 and we have a 30,000 gallon. You don't have to measure. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to go, did I put 6 ounces or did I put 7 ounces? Just drop it in the skimmer or pump basket and it'll work effectively and efficiently for an entire month. Now, in some of our products, we have had to reduce the chlorine. Like if you're doing a stain treatment, we have to reduce the chlorine levels. Chlornix will help you reduce it. If you have some bromine pools or bromine spas, this will reduce the levels. If you have a shocking situation that you have to shock the pool and you need to open it up right away for either a birthday party or a park, this will help you effectively lower the chlorine and open that pool as needed. And it's ideal for multi-stain remover because one of the things you need to do in multi-stain remover is lower your chlorine level to 0.5. It works efficiently with salt systems, tabs, and chlorine. So it'll reduce all of them. 2 ounces, 2 capfuls will reduce 1 part per million in a 15,000 gallon pool. If you have our brochure, we have a troubleshooting guide. This is also on our website. And you'll see on here that shows you the symptom, the cause, the solution, the dosage, and how to prevent it. That's the main thing we're trying to do here, folks, is we've taken care of the problem, but we want to prevent it. We also have several of our chemicals that are available in gallons, 5 gallons, 15, 55 gallons. We are the proven solution. We've been around for 45 plus years, and we're getting stronger, and we're growing in strides. Our website, which I'm going to show you in a minute, includes all the product sheets, dosage, and directions, because we all have a cell phone. 99.9% of the folks out there have cell phones. So if you're out at a pool and you forgot the dosage or you can't read the bottle, you can look it up on the phone. We have some informative videos. We have some informative blogs. We have testimonials that I always love having testimonials. If you've had a good results with one of our products, send it to somebody in Worldwide and we'll post it on our website, or send it to me. We have some dealer benefits. We have a store locator, and we have a lot more. Did I switch over, Pamela, to the website?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. So you see here, we have our homepage, about us, products, videos, blogs, testimony. However, on the bottom right, we have a new feature. It's been there for a few months. For those of us who speak Spanish, you can switch this over to Spanish. Everything will come up in Spanish. Let's keep it in English. So if you go to the products, multi-stain remover is a product that is very effective in removing stains. However, the print is very, very small. Why am I in Spanish? Sorry, let me switch back to English. Well, I can still show you the directions. We're just not going to be able to read them. So here we have the directions and usage. And it gives you all the details. Because believe it or not, all this is on the back of the bottle. But let's look at our Low Phos Max. It's right there in the bottle. Right there at your fingertips. So you have the dosage right there. And the directions. And we have it in metric also. And soon, for those of us that speak Spanish also, the bottles are going to have a peel away. So the inside shows all the directions in Spanish. So as we grow, we listen to our clients and we grow with them. We have some informative videos here that almost all our products are on here. Now you can see it's a quick 2 to 3 minute video. And then as some of you all know, we have a Find Your Pool store. So if you sell our products, we'll be happy to put you here on our pool store locator. Just picking Dominican Republic. So that's our 2 stores in that country. This concludes our webinar.
Okay, well, thank you so much to everybody that joined us this morning. I think this is being recorded, so as soon as it's ready, we'll send it out. And if you want to request the recording to show any other people that you want to in your company, please reach out to your salesperson at Worldwide, and we'll be sure to send you the link. Okay, thanks once again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Have a good day, everybody.